So I know you're going to go over the sort of technical details of what you did, but why do you think voters live in a fantasy land about their physical security?
Well, I mean, there's a psychological theory about the normalcy bias, right? The whole, that could happen to someone else, but that couldn't happen to me, right? So it's one of those things where you're like, well, you know, I've got RFID readers with pin pads, right? I mean, that's got to be good enough. Of course, that doesn't matter if the physical lock it's connected to is a horrendous piece of crap.
Well, not just the lock, but the latch and everything.
We'll get there. Okay. Now, let's just hope this works.
Oh, no, you get it.
Marty?
Every day I'm circus afro. Circus afro. Circus afro. Circus afro.
So I was watching videos from DEF CON, and which group was it that turned us on to this? But somebody did a talk where they threw that in, and we got stuck watching that on loop for about 18 hours, at which point we went and registered OperationAfroCircus.com. So I'm Ginsu. This is my hetero life mate GCS8. We call ourselves Operation Afro Circus, OAC for short. We're from Atlanta. We're with DC 404. We work at a place, and we do things. This talk is about bad physical security. So step one, find bad physical security. Step two, Jesus, what happened to my slides? Go back! I wasn't done talking about that yet. So, find bad physical security. Get a butter knife. Profit. All right, so we finally talk our CIO into letting us prove that he's lulled himself into la-la land about physical security. And let's just jump straight into it. This is GCS8 with a butter knife. Look at that pin pad. God, that is quality. There's another RFID. Oh, that's just unfortunate. Oh, God, he made that look easy. I wasn't going to spend the rest of my life in After Effects removing all the company logos from the whole office, so I just had to cut out this whole section. Left it in for time, so you saw how long it took us to run through, but there's the main server room. Oh, God, that's unfortunate. All right, so at this point, he's grabbing some duster because red team or no red team, yanking drives from production servers is kind of a dick move. So he just grabbed some duster to prove we were in there, and we're running back out again.
I think I still have the can of duster somewhere.
He does still have that can of duster. And here we are.
That concludes a minute, 15 seconds from when I started recording.
So I started recording as we were getting out of the car. I cut the video shorter, but a minute and 15 seconds from getting out of the car to into the main server room, grabbing something, and back out again. So this...
Yep.
So am I. Not to mention I was laughing my ass off the whole way because I couldn't believe how fast it was. Yeah, I had to cut it there because he started talking details about departments and stuff, which would kind of give away where we work, which we can't do because we like having jobs. But basically... he calls up our security guy who's like, are you guys in yet? And we're like, no, we're out already. He's like, well, you couldn't have taken anything. I was like, we could have yanked all the hot swap drives. So, but that wasn't all. There's another building. It was starting to get late. Whoa.
Yeah, this one was a little harder just due to the fact it was kind of loose in there.
That's what he said. Anyway, so basically, if one were to have no skill at all, this is about how long it would take with a butter knife to just break into your average office building. See, the recurring problem you keep seeing here is you got these electronic latches that spring open when prompted by the RFID reader, but they're all just open face. So it's like, oh, I see the latch, just crack it open.
The latches also have a 1,500-pound static pressure, 500-pound kinetic pressure on them. So you can get something moving fast enough, it'll open.
And now we're stealing our security guy's tools. Well, we do work there.
I'm considerate to a fault. It's a thing.
I'm actually still waiting to get signed. Kind of hoping Ginsu would do it. You know, it just sort of makes sense. But the legendary butter knife was actually given to me by my grandmother. It's a very nice piece of silverware, and as it turns out, is just awesome for breaking into office buildings. All right, so let's look at some stills. We did bring it with us. We have all the tools, but we'll get to a still of all of the professional breaking and entering tools that it takes to get into the average office building in just a second. All right, so this is the door to the main electrical for the first building that we broke into, which, I mean, just prior to, you know, the weekend that we were going to break in, they had some contractors come out to try to, you know, fix the couple things they thought that were left that were a little iffy. Yeah, they missed by a long shot. But anyway, so they put on, you can see the little latch guard near the door handle, because prior to that, butter knife, or did you hit it with a plastic card?
I hit it with a plastic ARFID card, and there's no reader out there.
So he just shimmed it. So anyway, so they put the latch guard on there, and they think, oh, that's clever. They won't be able to get past that. So he grabs a long kitchen knife, and we're in. This is the, third door that we popped through. This is another door. Again, ARFID reader, who cares? This one was fun. Okay, so this door, you can tell, leads to an office now. They changed the layout on the interior, but there's an exterior door there. So what you would normally do in that situation is, well, plug the hole. Except the plug they put in was supposed to screw in, but it didn't really fit, so it was just kind of stuck in there. So he grabs this, you can see in his hand, a little long but tiny flathead screwdriver, and popped it out, then manipulated the mechanism, and we're in. But the best part is they'd put a little latch guard on the door, which was handy because otherwise it would have been a pain in the ass to pry open, so he just used that as the handle to open the door. Yep. This is the main door into the office. You can see I had to censor the logos out in the background, but long kitchen knife, and popped it right open. This is the first door of the second building. Again, butter knife. Butter knife. Even I can do it with a butter knife. There's that second server room, the plastic card. It's a damn good thing they have those ARFID readers, though, because otherwise just anybody could get in. There's a back door into the second building. Again, one of those pin pad ARFID readers. Those are just snazzy. And yeah, you can see the latch guard in the shot. So you just take a longer knife. So these are all the tools that we used to break into this office building. That is my ARFID card, but we didn't use it legitimately. Just used it to shim. That is the butter knife, and then a long kitchen knife, and then a flathead screwdriver. Now, we could have taken lockpicks, but it would have taken longer. So, just didn't really see the point. All right, so, but it can't be that bad everywhere. Surely this is just one company that doesn't take their physical security very seriously. So we just, after we did that, we just started really looking around, right? Because we figured it can't be that bad everywhere. So we just started taking pictures when we saw stuff that we thought was horrible. So there we are at Walmart. One of these self-checkout things, and oh, so that's how the insides of that work. Good to know. Well, at least they didn't tell us what OS it's running. Oh. Oh, that is unfortunate. So we were at DragonCon, and just wandering around during DragonCon, and we see that the control box for the traffic lights at one intersection, I think that was like right by the Marriott too. So like right in the middle of DragonCon, they had just left this open. Okay.
There were pretty buttons. He wouldn't let me touch them.
There are an awful lot of cops wandering around at DragonCon. And this was one of my favorites I saw at DragonCon. Again, you got your fancy pin pad there, probably reads ARFID, but you can see the latch is completely exposed. So you can just pry the damn thing open. All right. So we broke into these two buildings at our company back in what, April? Early April, and they're still working on mitigation. So it's not really complete because, well, they're not done yet, but that just gives you an idea of how long it takes to really do it well. All right, so this was our main point of entry in the first video. So you see, you got the ARFID pin pad there, latch guard, multi-lock. If anybody can pick one of those, they're my hero. But also, you see the long white part in the jam just tightens everything up, so you really just can't shim that thing anymore. And I mean, picking a multi-lock is not something I would want to try.
I did try. It doesn't go well.
Now, you might be looking at this and saying, wow, that they did a bang-up job on that. Of course, on either side of all that security is glass. So don't spend $1,000 a door on this stuff and not laminate the glass, right? Get glass shatter sensors. There's a close-up of the multi-lock. These if you haven't seen these things, they're insane. They've got like a barrel in a pin system that he can bore you to death about here.
Yeah, so it's a big pin that's been hollowed out with another pin in it. Each one has to interact, and then there's not only on the top, but in the sides, on either side, there's a groove. And then in the particular ones in certain models, there's an actual active pin in the key itself. So there's a little spring-loaded pin in the key. So you actually have a two-part cylinder. Just you have to bring part of it with you. The other thing is multi-lock, the way they've done it, each demographic area and each specific locksmith has their own cut and key type. So you can't just go anywhere and get these duped. It is not easy by any sense, and since a couple years ago they have fixed the issue with being able to just overlift the center pin and get in, so they're pretty bulletproof now. Not to say you can't break it, you just have to try harder.
Yeah, you could always just bust out the lock, but moving on. All right, so here's that first door that we broke into again, just holding it open so you can see where they tightened up the jam and have the latch guard on there. This is the replacement for the plug. They really did the hell out of the latch guard on this one, then put in a plug that won't budge. So they fixed that. There's another multi-lock on another door. There's another ridiculous jam guard on that one. This is the electrical room. Now, when in that first picture, I don't think they'd put the deadbolt in yet, because they really went all out on this one. So they added the deadbolt, and then they put on the huge jam guard. And yeah, that one's tight enough that you can't really shim the thing anymore. So you just pick the lock. Well, here's a fun story. So after we broke in, we actually had to go get a ladder or something out of this electrical room. So we're with our security guy, and we walk over there. And so he pops. You can see there's a little key box on the door. So he pops the key box and pulls the key out and tries the key, and the key didn't work. And then he remembers, oh yeah, I thought you guys would pop the key box, so I put the wrong key in here. And then, of course, he couldn't remember where he put the real key. So Charles says, it's all good, goes back to the car, grabs a knife, and pops the door open. His face when? Question? Well, it's an electrical room, so the power company has to be able to service that room, right? They have to be able to get into there, so they put a key box on the door so when the electrician comes out, they can get into it. Yes, but we had to cut that part out of our last talk because, well, people would get upset if we told you how easy it is to pop one of those. Asshole. Anyway, so Yeah, so here's another close-up of that door. They actually replaced the key box after we pointed out how dumb they were, although the combination's still the same. A lot of you might use it on your luggage, hint, hint. So they replaced the key box because it used to be one of those really fun ones that only has, like, eight or 10 buttons on it, but it didn't matter what order you pushed them in. So just so long as you got the right combination, it was terrible. So they put one of these in, which has, a barrel on it, so you got to rotate them all down. But they didn't change the combination, so fail. This is a roof access door that they hardened up, although we got up on the roof and couldn't find any entrance into the building from up there, which, damn, that would have been fun. But no, we didn't get to Mission Impossible into the building. But they hardened this one up anyway, mostly just because they just don't want people fucking around on the roof. Okay, so the other biggest problem. Oh no, we don't need to talk about our guard goose. Anyway, it's a pelican. Anyway, you can ask us about Gene, our guard pelican, later. Anyway, so the other biggest problem was we managed to get in without really being seen because they thought it was good enough to have cameras inside the building pointed towards, all the exterior access, right? Well, not really. So they put in some cameras. So here's, a great exterior camera. And here's another one, and another one, and another one, another one, another couple. There's another camera. There's another camera, and a camera. Yeah, they were kind of pissed. So they put in some cameras. Also, sound sensors, which is brilliant. So, for turning on lights in some places, but I mean, the sound sensors are great so that, if somebody's manages to get in, you can kind of track where they are. So these things can be really cool if you use them properly, not if you just use them to turn on lights. Anyway, so also peepholes, because we have these huge metal doors on some of the exterior access, and someone can just walk up and housekeeping. So we put the peepholes in so people can actually check and see who the hell it is on the other side of the door. It's revolutionary. Yeah, well, we were going to go in morph suits and Guy Fawkes masks, but our boss specifically told us we couldn't do that. Took all the fun out of it. So here's a good combination. Got a camera there, sound sensor there. All right, this is the server room from the first video. So they really got pissed about this one. So they put in this really cool kind of like two-part latch guard. So there's really just no getting around it. I really like this. But the door handle's still kind of suspect. And that latch is still kind of suspect. So if you could... I know, I'm getting there. So we pointed out that door handle and that latch are still kind of crap. So there's another shot of that's the part that's on the frame, fits into the part that's on the door. So they replaced it with this mother. Yeah, obviously this multi-part like claw latch, those are a lot harder to shim, and it's not nearly as easy to put pressure on the doorknob. And we tried picking those locks. They're not kind. It's doable, but a lot harder than the stupid little door handle locks.
Yes, it is. I was about to say that. It is a Medico, so.
Thank you for arriving at the point. Because once again, the bolts are on the outside. So you can lull yourself into a false sense of security going, oh, this lock is really hard to pick and you can't shim that latch. And does anyone have a screwdriver? Oh, yeah. It opens in. It opens in. So, yeah, no, you can't. Although there were some exterior doors we had to talk to them about. Yeah. I mean, with any of this, you could say, I know of a way to beat that. Because even with the big metal doors, you can be like, well, I got a plasma cutter, or I can chain it up to a truck and drive it off like I'm in a bank heist movie or something. But it really kind of, you got to decide what your budget is, right? I mean, because we could have put Israeli doors with the bolts that go in every direction on every door in the building, but it gets kind of cost prohibitive.
Yeah. Well, at least this was a solid wood door, not a hollow core door. So some points for that. Not much, but some points.
Still kick ass or rugby.
Or you can kick it in.
Yeah.
We'll do that when we get back.
Anyway, so this is another one. They put like half of the 2-part system in here, but then I noticed they put these bolts in. So it still makes it a motherfucker. You're trying to shim around it. And yeah, they started putting latch guards on damn near every door in the building just because they were sick of us. Even the multi-parters. And then they started doing this when we started getting really clever, which is just put a couple of screws in so you can't get a shim in there. This is what we're looking for. This is a really cheap, really low-tech solution to our really cheap, low-tech solution. But remember, you can't just like set your physical security up and forget about it, because God knows how long this has been here. And a couple things are true. One, this wasn't perfect to start with because, well, you could probably just back that one bolt out. Oh, no, there's a second one on the bottom. Oh. And you could probably just take a hammer to it and get straight through that rust. Or beer can shim the lock or pick it. So just look for stuff like this because, I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, you can talk about driving a tank through the wall of a building, and yeah, we've got around all the physical security, but this is the easy stuff. Just don't make it easy. Questions? It's actually funny you say that because, yeah, we rounded up all the knives from the break rooms. Anybody else? No one. All right, cool. Thanks.
And, you know, I can bore you for another 20 minutes on how everything works and how, you know, little attention to detail will save you tons and tons of time. Like, if you've ever noticed on any of your latches, you have the secondary pin on the other side of the latch. All you have to do is actually press that in, and you can't just, you know, poke through it with cards or knives. Or it's not a hard concept, and every time you see one of the automatic latches, guess what? The whole thing's inside the latch, so guess what you can do? Put a knife in it. Instead of, you know, just shimming the door a little bit back the way with the little rubber stoppers, and, oh no, the door's fine again. It's not a hard concept, people. Just look for the little things. Like, it's that easy to overlook it, or lean into a door and the whole thing will push in. And then you can do, you know, open the door all over again. Just little things on very expensive security systems ruin the entire system. Go to work, try it. Piss off your security guy. Tell him it needs to get fixed.
Woo! One more time.
So again, you can find us at operationafrocircus.com or at our brand new Twitter at Prancing Kitties. Ask Carlo. That's his fault. All right, we're out.
So, yeah. So there's